In the final chapter, you wrote, had Depp v. Heard taken place in an era when social media did not exist, Depp might have felt significantly more powerless. Was social media that important in this case?
It was, in my opinion, but it is important not to take the affirmation out of context. Depp did not have a direct effect on social media. And by this I mean, I don't believe he purchased bots or that someone did it on his behalf, as some, Heard included, suggested. What I referred to was that the social media exerted a counter force against a narrative proposed by and pushed by the mainstream media, which was pretty much against them. In Chapter 6, which I dedicated to the analysis of legacy media, we can see the framing effect that Potter explained in his book, which refers to how journalists construct their messages. Framing means that journalists select certain elements of information and present them in a specific way. In this regard, how messages are constructed matters and often leads to moral judgment among the audience, or may have an effect on their attitudes, beliefs, emotions, and cognitions. Framing occurs when journalists organize the information they select to define problems and reaffirm their particular causes. Many articles reporting on Depp, especially after he sued The Sun in 2018, portray him as a decadent individual in financial trouble, a problem of his own making. Photographs and illustrations were selected to match this image and reinforce the picture of a troublesome man. Of course, if he was troublesome, it was easy to accept that he was also a wife-beater, as The Sun labeled him many times. He was not worthy of sympathy, being offered roles in movies, appearing as the face of Dior's fragrance Sauvage, or receiving awards for his career. Depp should be cancelled. This was the way mainstream media sought to change their audience's cognition, emotions, beliefs, and attitudes toward the actor. However, suddenly journalists no longer had a monopoly of the information. Through the internet, the public had now direct access to information sources, and the public wanted to know. Contrary to the portrayal that those supporting Depp were a bunch of fans mesmerized by his past allure, who would follow him blindly, I perceived people had a genuine interest in scrutinizing the evidence and knowing what truth there was in Heard's allegations. And there were very analytical minds dissecting every piece of available information. Opinions and comments multiplied 1 million times over social media. Now, the frame was not provided by a journalist writing an article for a media outlet. There was no selective information or censor effect. The legacy media had suddenly lost control of the narrative, and the public saw that. People were not satisfied with the news and magazines' headlines. It was a moment of rebellion against a powerful institution that was deemed untrustworthy. Each article portraying Depp as the perpetrator that Heard accused him of being the monster was dissected, commented on, and criticized. The more the legacy media defended Heard's allegations, the more the public positioned itself against the actress and those defending her. Information is a source of power. In the past, those who controlled access to information were able to influence how the public would think, feel, and act toward whatever reality they wanted to convey. But in a world where information and disinformation are at the distance of a button, control and power are much more diffused. In a world populated by influencers, those changing attitudes and beliefs are not media empire salaried workers anymore. The competitors are everywhere, like bugs bringing down an old elephant. Will legacy media evolve and adapt? Perhaps we will see it in the future, but in the Depp versus Heard case, the battle was not in its favor. The millions connecting on social media had a word to say, and that word was against a certain portrayal of the reality that did not match the evidence.